Hi, I'm Heather Wilson. I am a third-year teacher in Gaston County Schools. I am in my third year at Mount Holly Middle School. I took 20-some odd years off raising children in between student teaching and coming in the classroom, but I did substitute for 10 years in Gaston County. I am teaching at home. I grew up in Mount Holly, North Carolina, came through. It was Mount Holly Junior High, and I'm happy to be back as a teacher. We have a group of fabulous technology facilitators here in Gaston County. As a Pinnacle leader, I go to monthly PDs. We have a 2-week intensive training every summer where they do a fantastic job of going through and researching these digital tools for us so that we don't have to spend our time outside the classroom doing that. They do that part of it for us. I also participate in several Twitter chats every week as professional development, and I gain a lot of tools, especially from NCED. In social studies, pre-assessment is a very valuable tool. A lot of times we assume kids don't know, especially certain areas of U.S. history. So giving a pre-assessment gives me where I need to jump into a lesson or a unit. I don't want to reteach something students already know. I use formative assessments such as Exit Tool, Socrative in my classroom. I also use Google Classroom. I can post questions there that they can quickly answer. It gives me quick, instant feedback so I can see if a lesson's going well. If I'm not feeling good about it, that data I can use and say, okay, the next class, let's scrap this part of it, maybe teach this a little more thoroughly. I also use summative assessments such as Google Classroom, posting constructive response. I use Google Forms is a great way, and use Flugaroo to grade it. It instantly, within a minute of them taking the test, is graded and emailed their grade, so they have instant feedback. I do a lot of retest in my classroom. I give students the opportunity, if they don't feel like they were successful, I don't set that bar for them, they set it themselves. If they don't feel like they were a success on a unit, they can retest it. So using those digital tools and having that information instantly helps me work with that student and say, okay, let's talk about what you missed on this test so that you know how to prepare for the retest and be more successful for what bar you've set for yourself. So because they're so easily available, I use them mainly to make adjustments, to see where I need to go in and remediate, what I need to reteach, what my students maybe didn't quite grasp before we move on to the next unit. That's how I use it. I also use Minecraft in my classroom. When we finish a unit, I typically go in there and we do some type of activity with Minecraft. For example, we've had a world built by one of our ITFs, and it is trench warfare for World War II. So after we've talked about World War II, we've talked about the stalemate in France and the trench, what life was like, we actually go in and they kind of head-to-head battle with bow and arrows. Nobody dies, everybody's respawned. But that gives them an opportunity to work together collaboratively to infiltrate the enemy's camp and blow up their headquarters. The final assessment for that would be not only what I'm watching, but after that they write a paper or an essay about their experience and how they can relate that to what it would have truly been like in World War II. I've also done some of that with types of governments. I've set them free in a world and said, okay, you have to survive. And you'll see groups starting to set up, and then they'll start tearing people's down, and we'll stop and talk about, well, that's anarchy. And then I'll put somebody in charge, and they'll start putting people to work. Well, they don't like what the person in charge is doing, that's dictatorship. And then I finally make them vote on a leader, and we end up with a democracy. And again, we go back and write a constructive response or an essay to that, and that's my assessment. Twitter chats are my favorite right now. I'm even using them with my own students for reviews, and that's kind of an assessment as well. But participating in professional development Twitter chats, there is one every night of the week, sometimes 2 and 3 for your content area. So there's one for everybody, and you can build a PLN to communicate with people all across the United States. And I certainly communicate with a lot of people in North Carolina. I'm a big believer in NCAT. I've been a presenter twice this year with a group of fabulous educators across North Carolina, and it's given me a great opportunity to grow my PLN and gain those resources from those. I think my biggest asset is being a Pinnacle leader for Gaston County Schools, being a technology leader. They give us so much professional development. They give us these tools, but it also gives me that quest for knowledge to find more tools to go above and beyond what they do. We're teaching a generation of students that were born, what I believe, plugged in. They're connected to some device. We're all connected. All of us have our cell phones in our hands all day, and the students are no different. So I try to find things that are engaging, but also to use them as tools for assessment and learning. And you can find a way to assess everything you do digitally.